So much for your promises. They died the day you let me go.
Wow. Johnny hates jazz. Nice.
What's wrong with Johnny Hates Jazz?
Nothing. I just figured you'd be humming the Imperial March or something.
Not on my watch.
Ugh.
What did you say?
I own Star Wars now. You can't sing Star Wars music without my permission.
We gotta get back to the past, to the 20th century. Digging through the bubble wrap into your memories. Magnus the collector, he's protecting what we find. Relentless heavy metals keep us safe through time. RetroBlasting.
This is not a toy.
Just the corners of your mind. RetroBlasting. The stuff you love since you were 9. We're blasting into the past to see what thrill still lasts. RetroBlasting.
Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, the Mummy. These are the classic horror monsters known to every generation. Part of what makes them the biggest of the beasts is because no one breathing today was alive before most of them were created, and they were immortalized in a successful string of horror films by Universal Pictures. Universal's depictions of these monsters have become seminal visages, the standard by which all other interpretations are compared. Decades after these films had been made, they continued to resonate with people, and the fan base for Universal's monsters remains strong. Mego produced the major monsters in the 1970s as part of their famous 8-inch tall figure series under the name Mad Monsters, but skirted around the Universal depictions because they didn't have the license. One would think with the Universal monsters being so iconic that a big company like Kenner or Mattel would have licensed them. Instead, the honor of making these figures was destined for a much smaller company. In 1981, toy maker Remco licensed the Universal Monsters for a series of action figures and playsets. Founded in the 1940s, Remco is famous for having made figures of the Beatles, Batman wrist radios, and the Star Trek utility belt. Gen Xers know them better as the makers of Sergeant Rock, Crystar, AWA Wrestling, and Karate Kid toys. Remco made them in 2 scales. The first was a Mego-style scale that was still hanging on from the late 1970s, but Remco also wisely made a 3 3/4 inch scale and dubbed them the Mini-Monsters, which gave them a figure set that was compatible with Kenner's Star Wars. 6 figures were produced: Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Wolfman, the Phantom of the Opera, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. The inspiration Remco took from Kenner cannot be understated. Same 5-point construction, with Dracula and the Phantom sporting the vinyl capes Kenner made famous on figures like Darth Vader and Ben Kenobi. The sculpting of the figures has a simple charm, with my personal favorite being the Mummy, because the face actually looks like it could be that of Boris Karloff, despite being so simply rendered. The figures did not come with any accessories, but it's not as if they needed to. They were their own universe, with the cardbacks utilizing the faces of Bela Lugosi, Karloff, and Lon Chaney from the films. When it came to world building, Remco didn't expand beyond the title monsters. They didn't make any of the peripheral characters from the various films. They focused purely on the monsters. And the monsters live in this kind of pocket universe in the Mini-Monster playcase. It's like they're roommates and they're on a schedule as to who goes out spooking people each evening. Who could that be?
Hey y'all, it's Daisy. I'm here to see Frankie. I can't wait for our date tonight.
Frankie, why didn't you tell her you have a bride? As far as playsets go, the Mini-Monster playcase is representative of how little we as kids needed back then to be engaged. The case was cardboard, wrapped in plastic, and vaguely house-shaped. It unfolded to reveal a little environment made from vacuum-formed black plastic with a series of cardboard doors and hatches. There was a sarcophagus to contain the mummy, that slab upon which Frankenstein created his monster, and a cage to hold the creature from the Black Lagoon. The design would later be repurposed as a play case for Remco's Sergeant Rock figure series. The play case is a little fragile, especially the slab for Frankenstein, which relies on rubber bands and a hollow plastic straw jammed through the center of a folded paperboard table. But it does create an effective environment in which to act out the monster's nefarious schemes. As this was released in 1981, I imagine the Mini-Monsters were often employed on evil missions against the heroes of Star Wars, Buck Rogers, or random Mego characters. Maybe Wolfman fought Spider-Man, or the Creature and the Green Goblin teamed up against Starbuck and Adama. I expect Dracula was often hypnotizing Daisy and Wilma. Soon after their release, Remco gave the figures an upgrade by giving them glow-in-the-dark paint on their hands and faces, with the mummy and the creature being completely glow-in-the-dark. These figures seem to be less common than their non-glowing counterparts. The last and rarest toy in the Mini-Monsters series is the Mini-Monsterizer, brought out late in the line as a way to quickly charge up the glow feature on the glowing versions of the monsters. This is the most valuable piece in the series, commanding high prices online, and is the kind of thing that would appeal to a die-hard Universal Monsters enthusiast. Today, toy lines based on characters like the Universal Monsters are always premium collectibles for adults, commemorative and limited products with high price tags. But back in 1981, the Universal Monsters were simply part of the large cast of characters available in a child's toy box. They didn't have to be part of the latest movie or TV show, and it didn't matter that they were decades-old characters from black and white films. They were made available because they are legendary, and that's all that mattered to an 80s kid.
Sleep now, Michael. When you awaken, there's much work to be done. RetroBlasting will become an agent of Disney.
No. Leave him to me. I will deal with him myself.
You don't have a say. You, like your Star Wars buddies, are now mine.
Let's play a little game.
Okay, I like games. Is it fun?
You'll love it. It's called Mouse Trap.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
There is no escape for you.
There's not a lot of air in here. It's hard to breathe. Lay out.
Nothing can stop that now. No one owns Darth Vader.